What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Titans sector. If you are a Titans fan, this is the place to be. The takes are hot, the passion is real, and the opinions are sure to collide. I'm Van. As always, I'm joined over here by Ghost. And today we're really excited. We are bringing a guest onto the pod that we are excited to bring to you guys with some Titans insight. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Ghost and let him introduce our guest for today's pod. What you got?
We would like to welcome Bryce. His Twitter handle is at Titans on SI. He is a publisher for Titans on SI, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him in and let him introduce himself a little bit as well.
Welcome in, Bryce.
What's up, Bryce?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we're glad you're here on the pod today to discuss Titans. So, Bryce, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, man. So I am a Middle Tennessee native, Clarksville, so a little northwest of Nashville. Lived here my whole life, lifelong Titans fan, obviously. Kind of got started in writing about the Titans just kind of for fun back in college. Did some Titan-sized for fan-sided. Have worked in sports media in 100 different places since then, and it's kind of come full circle now. Had an amazing opportunity present itself to me to publish all Titans content for Sports Illustrated on SI. So if you see any Titans content on SI, that's me or one of my writers. It's been a dream come true so far. So
That's
happy
awesome.
to be joining you guys. Been following you guys for a while now, so happy to be on.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Tell me about. I'm just interested in this. You said you're from Clarksville. I lived in the Middle Tennessee area for a little over a decade, so I'm really familiar with the area. So, how did that opportunity come about? Were you contacted by SI?
Yes. So I write for quite a few different places. And I've worked for Sporting News, A to Z Sports, Saturday Down South, quite a bit of places. And I luckily had a contact with Sports Illustrated who, saw that I live in Tennessee, experienced sports writer, and he wanted to know if I'd be open to coming to be a publisher for them. And it was interesting because it's the first time that I've ever been a publisher or editor. I'm used to just being a grunt guy, doing the freelancing wherever I can.
You made it. You're there
for $10, So it's no, it's been a blessing for sure. It's not something I even sought out, but it is a dream, I mean, it's a lot of people grow up wanting to write about the Titans or their favorite team. So it's cool. It's a cool situation.
Well, I'm still fully grown and look what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So
I feel like I'm still growing.
Which way? Up or out?
Yeah, out now. I stopped growing up a long time ago.
Well, I can say, on behalf of, I'm sure, plenty of Titans fans on X, we really appreciate the work you do and the coverage that you do for the Titans on SI. I think you do excellent work. Your articles are great. And for any fans out there watching, if you're not connected with Bryce, definitely get connected, follow him, and look at the work he does. It's great stuff. So with that said, today we're going to be talking about some of our takeaways from OTAs, and we really want to hear from Bryce on your opinion, what you've seen in your coverage of the Titans. And to kind of crank it off, one thing that Ghost and I wanted to do is talk about two players in specific that we picked out. Somebody that's impressed us out of OTAs, somebody that we think we would like to see more out of. So for me, somebody that's impressed me is Xavier Restrepo. I was a big fan of Restrepo coming out of college. I like his moxie. I like his grit. And I think when he saw the field last year, he did some good things before his injury. I like the fact he has chemistry with Ward, but in OTAs, and granted it's OTAs, it's, you're in pajamas, as they say, you're in shorts. But, I think he had 18 catches to lead receivers in OTAs through all the quarterbacks. And that's impressive. I love to see his grind. He has a great attitude. On somebody that I want to see more from, for me, it's just Ridley. Personally, because last year he had issues with drops and I think some performance related stuff before his injury and then his second injury that took him out. And I still think he can contribute to the team, but I really want to see what he does from here. So TJ, what do you got?
Yeah, a little note on Xavier Restrepo.
Mm.
So what blew my mind about him was when he was coming out, he was like pretty widely considered like a top 5 or 10 wide receiver in that class. And it's crazy. He ran that 40 as like he fell off the planet Earth and then was undrafted and then just can't make it on the roster. I don't know what they saw prior to the 40. I mean, I know what they saw. They saw his Miami career, which was amazing. But it still kind of blows my mind like how it all played out. You know what I mean? It's like that 40 was like some like crux or something. I don't know. Drives me nuts. But I'm glad you brought up Xavier Restrepo. So person that I like what I'm seeing is, and you viewers might know, because it is an Ohio State wide receiver.
I wonder who it could be.
It might just be Carnell Tate. I think he's looked amazing. I think he's looked better than I thought he was going to in OTAs.
That's fair.
Again, they're in shorts and a shirt. He's catching everything, dude. He's out there just manhandling people.
Glue paper.
Balls. I know, man. And one-handed, two-handed, doesn't matter. So yeah, I've been very impressed by him because the narrative was, who's behind J.R. Smith? He's just a glorified number 2 or whatever. I think he looks every bit the part of a number 1. And then somebody I need to see more from is not just from OTAs, but just pretty much like since we had him. I mean, his first year, he had like really crazy flashes, and that was Tyjae Spears. I mean, he looks amazing on tape. He's like smooth, he's fast, he's shifty. I want to see more from Tyjae Spears moving forward because he's got some talent, and I want to see him explode this year.
So Bryce, what do you think on your observation from OTAs, brother?
Yeah, so I'll go with a couple guys. I'll go with a defense and offense guy for each category, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm trying to go a little bit. I don't want to give the most basic answers, but I want to, on defense, for example, Keedrain Callaghan is a guy that has really caught my eye. So, I'm going to be honest. Anybody who's read my stuff over the last couple of months, I've been ranting about how the depth in the secondary concerns me. I mean, if you look at the depth chart, you have Flott, Taylor, Harris, which you probably feel pretty good about. But behind those 3, who do you feel good about? I mean, you have Josh Williams. You have Josh Williams, who hasn't started a whole ton. I mean, so Keedrain Callaghan is a guy that I did not have he was not on my radar at all. Like, just being honest, he was not a guy that I considered on the roster at all. And I think he's firmly in consideration now. He has a couple picks. He had a couple picks during OTAs. He shows good speed, good ball skills. He got a bigger chance to showcase himself a little bit because Taylor and Flott missed most of OTAs. So him and the other guy, really, I mean, this wasn't the other guy I was going to mention, but Micah Robinson too. I think he's worth a mention.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people clowned him because he got kind of abused by Carnell Tate a little bit, but who wouldn't? I mean, that's more of a product of Carnell Tate than anything Micah did. But he had another good day today. I mean, he had an up and down day yesterday. He had a penalty. He gave up a big touchdown to Tate yesterday, but then he came back today and, he just plays hard. He's always around the ball. He doesn't ever get burnt, like he's in the big plays he's given up have been like kind of like jump balls. Like he's been with his man. So I say all that to say, I feel a little bit better about the depth than I did a month ago. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, I like the Robinson point because I was going to mention him. I saw somebody say that even though Carnell Tate has been, on these highlight reels, that when you see him, usually Robinson's right there in his hip pocket.
Yeah.
So to your point, it's not like he's getting toasted on the field. And, I can't remember when he came in last year, but I remember seeing him in games, and I thought he did a nice job on Denard Wilson's defense when we had, just an atrocious secondary.
I mean, at the end of last season, I mean, you had I think they got some baggers from the Publix training secondary. I mean, it was getting pretty thin out there, but Micah was actually a 7th round pick last year. So he did get drafted, but he never played for the team that drafted him. I think it was the Packers.
I think you're right.
He kind of bounced around on waivers a little bit, and he's getting a chance. I mean, I think Robinson and Callaghan definitely have a chance to make the roster. as far as guys I want to see more from, obviously, we talked before we started recording, we talked about you don't really want to say injured guys, but I think you have to be disappointed with Femi because he's kind of an X factor. He's basically a rookie this year because he played in, I think, 6 games last year before he broke his leg. So he's basically a rookie. I mean, it's a whole new coaching staff. Robert Saleh has mentioned before that he thinks Femi is a great fit for his system. So there was kind of like some hype building for Femi. And then, like, you haven't really seen much of him. And they said today was an injury, but there's not really specifics. I don't know if it has anything to do with his fracture. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not like a setback or anything.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not in his control. I mean, if he gets injured, he gets injured. But it just kind of sucks because that's a guy that you definitely, like, wanted to see something from the early part of the summer.
Availability is a skill.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. And I think basically like the rookies in general, other than Tate, I want to see more from. Keldrick's had a couple of good reps, especially the later we go in. He's had a couple would-be sacks. He looks really explosive. Like you can definitely see why he was a first-round pick. He definitely has the raw talent to be a first-round pick, productive player. I've wrote about it a little bit. I think it might take him some time to kind of find his own, which he's going to be like the youngest player in the league this year.
That's crazy.
So, a lot of people don't know that.
Didn't know that stat.
He's going to be like he either is the youngest or one of the youngest in the league. So it's going to take him a minute probably. But I want to see more from like Anthony Hill. Like I want him to take the spot from Cody Barton.
Yeah.
I think, not to say he's been bad, but he's kind of just hadn't really done anything yet that's like the position's definitely his.
Right. Yeah. I'm real big on Anthony, man. I love what that guy did in college and the stats and the tape he put out. And I think he has explosive potential for this team, especially in Saleh's defense. But I agree with you. That's something that we've discussed previously about Anthony Hill, but we would love the same thing. I think all Titans fans would love to see him take that spot from Barton. It was interesting seeing Barton's presser today and some of the comments he made about being the veteran and teaching the young guy and Anthony Hill and, essentially just answering the question, how is it you hold on, how do you handle the team picking essentially a guy that could replace you in the second round? But I think he answered well. He answered as a veteran, but yeah, he said his passing defense last year was elite, and his running game left a lot to be desired. So that's where he wants to improve. So it'll be interesting to see if Anthony Hill can step it up. I like also your take on Femi. I would agree with you there. And with Keldrick, to me, I agree. I think it's going to take him some time. I'm an SEC fan. I watched a lot of his college games at Auburn. And I think raw is the right word when it comes to that. Definitely raw.
Absolutely. Yeah, Femi worries me. Like you said, availability is important. But and he needs to be more than an edge setter. You know what I mean? I think he needs to make some noise in the backfield. And same with Keldrick. That was kind of his MO in college was pressures and setting the edge. So when you both those guys really could be more productive.
Yeah, he did that really well. Bryce, I might be cutting you off. I don't know if you have anything to expand on, you can. But I've seen some article that you wrote regarding the wide receiver room. That's a really hot topic in the fan base right now because, at a glance from the fans' perspective, we feel like we have a deeper wide receiver room than we've had in a lot of years, which I think can be argued
100%.
as factual. And I'd like to hear your perspective so the fans can hear it, what you've seen from that group going into, like your 53-man projection was great. So kind of give us some detail and some insight into your thoughts there.
Yeah, so I'm so glad you asked because I could talk about this receiver room for an hour. I love receiver play. I just love watching receivers. As a Titans fan, that means I haven't had a whole lot of fun. But it's
a wasteland for you.
Speaking of that, though, I mean, I did say I wrote an article where I said this could be the deepest room ever, Titans wise, since they've been in Nashville at least. And I stand by that. I mean, it might not be the most. Well, no, I think it could be the most talented in general. Because I mean, and here was kind of the case that I'm making for anybody who hasn't really looked much past Carnell Tate and Calvin Ridley. So at the very top, you have the number 4 pick, who is a generational talent. I mean, I think he's a freak athlete. Everything that you would have wanted to see from Carnell Tate so far, you've seen it. I mean, he came in, and I know that doesn't mean everything. I mean, Justin Hunter and Dorial Green Beckham looked pretty good too, but it just feels a little different. It just feels different. So you have Carnell, then you have Wan'Dale Robinson, who a lot of people will know him from Kentucky. I mean, he dominated at Kentucky. Being a 1,000-yard receiver at Kentucky is not easy. He's a speedy slot guy. He had 1,000 yards last year for an offense that wasn't very good. So he's going to be kind of like, in my opinion, I think he's going to be kind of like Cam's safety valve. He's going to be, and that's what they've done a lot in minicamp and OTAs, is a lot of his stuff has been short and intermediate route stuff over the middle. So I think he'll get a ton of receptions. Then you have, which people forget because of last year, but you have Calvin Ridley, who's also a 1,000-yard receiver multiple times. There was a time where Calvin Ridley was top 25 receiver in the league.
Yeah, easy. Yeah,
I mean, so that's a guy that is still good. And by the way, he looks fast. I mean, he doesn't look like he's lost a step to me. So that's,
which is super important, especially at this stage of his career.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, coming off an injury-riddled season, missing an entire season for that thing that happened a couple years ago, it's definitely encouraging that he still looks how he does. So that's your top 3. Then you have Chim Dike, who is an all-pro and pro bowler already, not because of his receiver talent, but still. I think Chim has arguably been probably the 3rd best receiver on this summer. I mean, he had like 8 catches today. I mean, it's incredible. He's been incredible the past 2 days. In minicamp, he dominated. Actually just wrote about it before I came on here. He's been incredible. So the fact that you already know that DK provides all pro level special teams play, and then the fact that he looks like a useful wide receiver too. Yeah. I mean, just think about some of the best returners that you've ever seen, like Devin Hester, Dante Hall. Right. Like Dante Hall, Devin Hester didn't provide anything as a wide receiver. So that's just something.
A huge bonus. Yeah.
And then you have Elick, who is, I mean, last year he was thrust into a horrible situation. You have a mid-round rookie who is, he's got Van Jefferson, the ghost of Tyler Lockett. I mean, he doesn't really have the best supporting cast. So he's thrown into a way bigger role than anybody would expect from a mid-round rookie. And obviously we know he had drops. He wasted some good cam throws. There's no denying that. But I mean, and drops were a thing for him in college too. People might not know that, but DK too. DK and Elick had some drops in college, but the way Elick attacks the offseason, he's kind of getting written off a couple months ago because you see Carnell Tate, you see Wan'Dale, and you're thinking like, oh, who cares about Elick? Well, he shows up to camp looking like a freaking Greek god.
Yeah, and he looks ready. That's for sure.
Like he's not writing himself off. He put on, I think they said 10 pounds of mass, which is pretty impressive to do that in one off season. And the thing about it is he hasn't lost any speed. Like he looks just as explosive. So he definitely looks the part. So that's 5 receivers right there. And I don't think you guys would disagree. Like those 5 are locks. Like there's no scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so there's no scenario where any of those 5 don't make it. Well, then you got to think most teams are going to keep 6 receivers for reasons that I'll talk about later. Maybe I don't think they'll keep 7. I don't know. I go back and forth on it. It'll be hard to keep 7. Assuming you only keep 6, though, this is like the conundrum of the century because you have, no joke, you have at least 4 guys who deserve that spot. I mean, KJ Osborne is a guy that nobody talked about before OTA started. It was just like a veteran camp body. He didn't play last year. He did have, if you don't know about KJ though, he had a couple of 500. He had 3 seasons of 500 or more yards in his career. So he's not like a total scrub. And he's looked awesome. I mean, KJ Osborne has definitely proven to me that he belongs on a roster. And then, like you guys mentioned, Xavier Restrepo just catches everything. I mean, he caught more balls than anybody else this in the offseason program. And then you have Bryce Oliver, who that Bones loves him because of the special teams stuff, which that's important. I mean, you got to factor that in. But he's even shown more as a receiver. I mean, he's had a couple of nice catches this summer. And then you also have Tyron Montgomery, who I love. I mean, I probably would have liked to see a little bit more from him in minicamp, but I don't know if people realize this or not. So he played at the D3 level in college, right?
Right.
He had the second highest wide receiver grade in all of college football. Like all 3 levels, like all levels of college, like not just D3. Like he was legitimately one of the best receivers in any level of college football. And you can say like, oh, he did it against bad competition. Well, he went to the Senior Bowl and dominated against
Senior
Bowl competition.
He definitely stood up there.
And I mean, he's made some catches this summer. So that's 4 guys. And I haven't even talked about Hank Beatty, who he got the largest UDFA signing bonus. And he's caught everything that's come his way. Lance McCutcheon, a guy that literally nobody talked about, has a couple of touchdown catches in the last 2 weeks. And then you have Mason Kinsey, who just, never goes away. I mean, this is the deepest I can't imagine. I mean, usually every year by this time, you have we're usually thinking who's going to fill these receiver spots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you're thinking we literally have too many receivers. I mean, it's to the point where and I don't think this will happen, but I started questioning if Calvin Ridley might get traded just because.
Yeah, because of the depth.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't think they will because I don't think that contract is really going to be that in demand, but it's just something interesting to think about. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one that has to
make those decisions, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hearing you describe it, it's I think what every Titans fan is feeling right now. And, in some of our conversations we've had about the Ridley angle, we had the same type of conversations. Is this something that they would trade? But I think restructuring Ridley's contract coming off of that injury year, I think having him in this room as a veteran presence, even though they brought in Wan'Dale, which is also slightly veteran presence, I think that Ridley still has value to this team. I think that he believes in Cam Ward. And I think Cam still believes in Ridley, as a teammate. So I would agree. I think those 5 that you mentioned were locks. If they keep 6 and only keep 6, who would you think is the lead horse coming out?
So I no longer really think it's Restrepo. Despite how productive he's been, despite the chemistry with Cam, I just don't think they're going to keep another slot, like an undersized slot receiver.
Yeah.
Because you have DK, you have Wan'Dale. I don't think they're going to keep him. I think it's between Osborne and Oliver at this point, which in that case, it's probably going to be Oliver just because of the special teams makes the difference. I think that's going to be what it comes down to. I mean, I'd like to see Osborne. I think that's a cool story, but I also understand going with one of the younger guys because Osborne's older. You kind of know what you're going to get.
Right.
So
the next conversation is the battle for the practice squad.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, I think Montgomery and Beatty are definitely going to be on the squad, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you keep 3 receivers.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk in fandom that this could be the end of Kinsey's run. So, and
I don't see a way it's not.
Yeah, I don't either. I wish nothing, bad for the guy. He seems like a great guy. But man, I think it's a great spot. It's a great spot. It's a great problem to have for the Titans to be able to be in that spot where they're saying, man, what do we do? And I mean, do you think what is the world that they keep 7? I know you touched on that it would be difficult, and I did see your 53-man projection, but for those that maybe haven't looked at it,
yeah. So
explain that a little bit.
So in my scenario, I did keep 7-1, but that made it to where I only kept 4 safeties. So the thing about that though is, I mean, I justified it because one of the corners that I kept is Keydran Callaghan, who has played a lot of safety. So you're only keeping 4 like technical safeties, but you have a 5th corner who can kind of do that too. And then if James Williams makes the team, which isn't a guarantee, but if James Williams makes the team, you know, he has safety experience as well. So that's kind of how I justified keeping 4 safeties and 7 receivers. But you don't have to do it that way. I mean, there's a scenario where you only keep 3 tight ends, I guess. I don't really think that's likely because I think Bellinger and Helm will both see the field quite a bit.
Yeah.
But if Kanik, you know, if Jaron Kanik like looks amazing and they don't think they have to keep Kylan Granson around, then I could that's maybe where you get a spot. And, you know, this isn't even counting in. Like, I only kept 2 quarterbacks, too. So you can't say get rid of the 3rd quarterback because that's probably not going to happen. I mean, another spot, which we can talk about that if you want. Another spot, though, is the offensive line. I mean, you can always keep 8 offensive linemen instead of 9. But
yeah,
I don't really think that's likely either because I think Carmona and Coogan are both making the team. And I also think Jackson Slater's making the team. So you're already at 8 right there. And that's no backup tackle. So it's hard to make it work. And plus, hate to mention it, but there's almost certainly going to be injuries. So that will factor into it as well. Some of these guys will be on IR.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know yet.
Right.
Which is a good point. So that's some good insight, man, and I appreciate you kind of sharing your perspective on it for everybody. And switching it up a bit, something that we talked about on our last pod that was released was last week's occurrences and Cam Ward's performances and how the media covered it. You being someone that's in the media and has that presence, I'd kind of love to hear your perspective on that. And TJ, what do you think about what we did? I mean, what's a short little quip to lead Bryce in here from your perspective?
Well, I think there's people who just loosely try to trigger people to draw engagement. And then there's like the extreme, which is like a Jared Stillman who's just in a fantasy realm, like doing like Blake Bortles comps, saying Cam Ward's a bust, like since the dawn of time, like all of this stuff. And then I do think that there are some Paul Kaherskis and Teron Davenports in the world who they just give you the facts. That just bullet point, whatever, maybe 3 inaccurate passes sandwiched by a couple receptions or however that looks. And they let you kind of draw your own opinions without trying to fuel their engagement, but with triggering people basically. So that's kind of like what I've been seeing out there. So from the other side, like, what are you seeing?
I agree with you 100%. There's a difference between, so there's like a happy medium that you should try to be in as a journalist. Okay. And it's a little bit different for me because I'm also a fan. So like, you know, PK and TD they did not grow up fans, you know,
right.
So this is just their job. I'm not saying that might make them better. I'm not sure. But me and Stillman, it's, you know, we grew up fans. We grew up here. So there's a little bit more into it. I am never going to, we try very hard on SI to not be clickbaity because it's disingenuous and you're not getting an audience that will stay. Like, sure, you'll get a lot of clicks on a clickbait article or like a reactionary piece, but like they're not going to come back and read your non-clickbait stuff. You're not building loyalty when you do that. So I would rather just be as honest as possible, give you my opinion as centered in reality as I can. With that being said, I do think some people go too far the other way where you can't criticize. If you're a fan of a team, you're not allowed to criticize them at all. I hate that mindset. I think you guys, you know, you spend money, you dedicate your Sundays, you can criticize them if they deserve it, as long as you're not being like rude. Like if you're being honest, like you should never DM a guy after a loss, right? Obviously, but you can be mad and you can say like X guy needs to play better. Like you can say that. It's okay. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that Cam did not have a great OTA period. I mean, you can say that, but you don't have to say that he's Blake Bortles, or you don't have to say that he's a bust. That's kind of where it goes. Like, I thought that Easton Freeze, I thought, did a pretty good job with it. TD, PK, like kind of just saying what they saw. I mean, it's not, nobody's going to say he looked like Joe Montana because he didn't. I mean, what you choose to do off of that is what you choose to do off of that. I personally don't think it's a big deal in the slightest. I wrote about why I don't think it's a big deal. Just last year, this time, there was plenty of talk about Caleb Williams and Drake May struggling.
Yeah.
Didn't matter one lick. So like you said, it's the Pajama Olympics. Like I'm not gonna be too worried about it. And I think that there is a little bit of a difference. Like Jared kind of like came at me saying that like I shouldn't care about minicamp then but it's like
I saw that. Yeah.
It's totally different though, because like there are things that you can gather. It's just you don't have to make it you don't have to make everything a hot take.
Yeah.
You can monitor trends. You can say what you're seeing, but you don't have to make everything some big thing. Like this guy had a bad practice. Who cares?
I think that's really well said, how you said that about it doesn't have to be a hot take, because I think that's what it feels like from a fan's perspective when you're reading this material and you're seeing these guys come out with something. It's like they're really trying very hard, whether you call it clickbait or whatever. They're trying super hard to get a super hot take and make it something that stands out amongst the crowd of reporting on the issue. And some of these guys, I don't know everybody's athletic background and if they've ever been a part of a team athletically higher than a certain level, but it certainly doesn't seem like it from some of the takes that we have about how important is practice. If you've ever been an athlete or even in the coaching realm, practice, to quote a famous quote, we're talking about practice, I mean, we talk about practice and it matters, but practice is there for a reason. What really matters is what happens when the lights go on. I can't really say that for the Titans because the light is the sun and we never play under the lights in prime time.
Well, I think the cool thing about it is, like, if you look at practice for what it is, it's Titans versus Titans out there. It's okay that our defense won a rep. That doesn't mean that your quarterback's a bust. And if your quarterback and wide receiver wins on a rep, that doesn't mean your cornerback is a bust. You know what I mean? It means they won that rep. There could be a million and one things. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't even have to go far back in history to like prove that point, right? I mean, last year people were talking about how great Arden Key looked in minicamp, and then he went out he ran out there and did cardio for 16 weeks.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, if you can look like Tarzan, play like Jane. We
had mentioned in our last pod the Mariota, the news cycle during the off season when he was like 230 or whatever, 250 passes, no interceptions in camp, and it's like, I mean, they didn't amount to much during the season. You know what I mean? So it's just it can go both ways. So
for sure,
no, I'm right there with you, man. I think practice matters to gather yourself some data and see what you need to work on. But I don't think big picture it matters as much as far as like your overall career success. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I agree. Before we close out, one thing I'd like to get your perspective on, Bryce, is just the Titans overall. I mean, obviously, we've been through a transformative offseason from the organizational level to the branding, to the coaching staff, to the players. I mean, we've had so much change. And something that continues to stick out in my mind from a perception when I watch the team through the OTAs and through these pressers and interviews is it does seem to me that there has been a shift in the culture in that building, the culture within that team, and not only just a shift, but also the buy-in. And obviously that comes from the leadership, But I'd love to get your perspective as to where you think this new regime and this new Titans team is at this point as we move into 2026.
Yeah, so I think I put it this way to some other people recently. It feels like the adults are in charge again.
That's so spot on.
That's great.
I mean,
that's great.
It is what it is. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, when the Callahan regime and the Wisenhunt regime, those are they're like brothers. Okay.
Yeah.
Just the vibes were atrocious. It was just a real joke. Like there was no positive momentum. There was nothing to be excited about. It was kind of the same. And then now you have Robert Saleh coming in, who's been a head coach before. You have Brian Dable, Gus Bradley, Bones Fassel. You have a ton of guys with head coaching experience, guys that have been on winning teams with winning cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell. I mean, the way they carry themselves. I mean, two guys that are interesting are Aaron Whitecotton and Carmen Brasillo.
Yeah, love those guys so far.
So energetic. So they love their jobs. They love coming to work. The players love playing for them. I love that. Something I noticed that's different than other coaches that we've had in the past. Robert Saleh is going to build his guys up. You can just tell he's a player's coach. You look at a couple years ago when Vrabel was the coach. Levis could have cured cancer, and he would not have said a positive thing about him. Now, granted, he ended up being right. Levis wasn't very good, but still, I don't know this. This is not inside information. I'm just speculating. I think Vrabel completely killed Levis's confidence. That's not going to be a problem with Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
Saleh built his guys up. You see how he talked? Did you see how Saleh talked about Cam's OTA performance?
Yeah.
This is just the kind of thing you want. And you look at Saleh. He's chiseled. He's a professional looking guy. Takes care of his body. Takes care of his family. He's bringing that mindset to the whole team. I think GM Mike Bergonzi is a huge part of it. I think he's obviously done plenty of winning in his career. He knows what a winning organization looks like from top to bottom. Yeah. And I think that kind of just trickles down. And last thing I'll say, people give Amy a lot of crap over the last couple of years. Yeah. Not saying she's done everything perfectly. No owner does. But I do think she's going to make some people eat crow. I think things are on the upswing. I think she ended up being right more than she was wrong. I mean, this might be a rabbit hole you don't want to go down tonight, but of all the moves that she gets criticized for being too brash, which one was incorrect?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Vrabel thing is the only one that you can kind of say from a football perspective, but from an off the field perspective,
it's correct.
I mean, obviously, every move. I mean, you could say she should have never hired Callahan or Rand in the first place, but firing them was not the wrong decision. So I don't know why she gets roasted for that. I mean, would you rather have an owner who is stubborn and won't make a change? I wouldn't. I mean,
not at all. Not at all.
It is very apparent to me that it's very apparent to me that Amy wants to win, and she's going to keep moving chess pieces around until she gets that. So.
Yeah, change is the only constant, man. And I agree completely. I'm glad you said something about Amy, because I think that's something that needs to be put out there more to the Titans fan base. Sometimes the loudest voices are the only ones that we hear, and I'm sure not everybody shares that opinion about what she's done as an owner. But you got to cut rope. You got to cut that dead weight when you have that chance and you see that it's not working, and she's done it. So I totally agree.
Out of that stretch, by the way, in my opinion, the only thing she did wrong, I mean, obviously, there's a mistake there in hiring Rand Carthon and Callahan, but they had everybody fooled.
Right.
I was excited about them. And I would say the only thing that frustrated me and I felt like set us back like a half a season was not letting Callahan go with Rand. Giving him that second shot, I think, was a misstep.
Yeah, but, could have been a clean break, but
yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ghost, you got any parting words on today's pod?
No, man. I'm just excited to have him on, excited to talk to him. He's got a deeper knowledge of the team than me. I love this team, man. But just hearing you talk shop it's been fun, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Love to come back anytime. So,
absolutely, man. We need to make this a reoccurring schedule, especially through the off season. But yeah, just to echo what I said earlier, we do appreciate you being here. We appreciate the work that you do. I've loved getting to know a little bit more about your story today. Knowing that you're from Middle Tennessee and a Titans fan really is awesome to put that context to what the work you do. And yeah, I love the fact that you were on the show and gave all of the fans out there that are going to watch this a better insight from your perspective on the other side of it as somebody that covers the team. Right. So greatly appreciated. Look forward to having you back on. And hey, as always, for everybody that's tuned in today on the pod, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We certainly appreciate your support. You can always catch us over on X at the Titan Sector. You can catch Bryce on X at Titans on SI. So make sure if you don't, follow him and get linked up with Bryce. Great work, great guy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate all your support. And until next time, we will see you guys later.